Good morning, everyone here in office and online. We see we have quite a few people online. I'm Jen Jones. I'm the director for the Geauga and Trumbull Solid Waste District. And this is our community grants workshop that we hold annually and every year to go over all of the grants that we cover. Every year we tend to tweak things up a little bit. So this year we kind of broke it up by type of grant and gave time slots for each grant. So this first section is our Go Green grants, which see if I can, hopefully everyone can see my screen as I move it along. Those of you who are online, if you have questions along the way, there is a chat feature that one of my staff is going to be monitoring the entire time. So she will let me know as questions or anything like that, or if you're having trouble hearing us or whatever, I'll answer your questions during the Q&A at the end. And if you're having technical difficulties, we'll try and figure those out as we go. As always, this presentation is being recorded. Today's slides and the recording of the workshop will be available for download on our website. And you can also watch it on our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page. So you can watch it up there. It'll probably be available, I'd say Monday or Tuesday of next week. Give me a little time to fix it up a little bit and make it presentable. Okay, this is our Go Green grants section. So we have 3 different types of grants. The first one is the Go Green grants, which is our most, I guess it's the most open to various projects. So first, we're going to go over what the grant is, what we can fund, how to apply, how to complete the project, how to get reimbursed, and some examples to give you ideas of what we've funded in the past and kind of get your imagination working on what you possibly spend it on. Okay, so our Go Green grants. Here's a few pictures of some of the things that have been funded in the past. As you can see, in the top left, there's some kids sitting around a picnic table. That picnic table is made from 100% recycled materials. We want to help grow the market for the use of recycled plastics. It's always been a problem getting people to buy plastics. That's part of the recycling process. We collect it. We want someone to take it and make it into something else. So recycled plastic tables are one thing. The bottom left is a garbage/recycling container that help them recycle in a public place. We also support litter cleanup supplies, which is the bottom right, with all those great kids there taking pictures. You could buy your own. If you do a lot of cleanups, you could buy your own supplies, have them on staff, have them available for you 12 months out of the year. And the top right is Hubbard having a electronics collection. So you can host your own electronics collections using these funds. Those are just some examples. So who is eligible to apply for Go Green grant? So any local government, so cities, townships, villages, and counties can apply for funds. Any nonprofit organizations and schools, which hopefully I have some schools online. We're trying to get our word out a little bit more to schools. And I'll talk about that in more detail, what schools might be interested in applying for. Of course, you have to be located in Geauga or Trumbull County. I can't fund anybody else outside of my district. Okay. So what about a Go Green grant? It's a $3,500 grant. We can go up to $3,500 with no match required. You're not required to put in any money of your own. You can if you want to. If the project is $5,000 and you're kicking in $1,500 of your own, you're welcome to do that, but we don't require it. So if you want to ask for $2,000 to do a project and it's only $2,000, you get it pretty much free of charge because we're paying for it. The grant period, you have approximately a little over a year to complete the grant. So once the grant applications come in and we award grants, you'll have until June of 2026, which is crazy to talk about right now, it being 2024, but you have over a year to complete your project. It is a reimbursement grant. I can't stress this enough. Most people understand it, but what you do, you pay for it up front, complete some paperwork, send it to me, and then we will cut you a check for the amount that you spent up to the grant award amount that you requested. So you have to buy the stuff up front, but we will reimburse you as long as you bought what you said you were going to, and it's up to the grant amount that you asked for. Some communities ask for security cameras for their recycling drop-off sites. If they only wanted to get a couple extra cameras and it's $2,000, that's no problem. But if you get security cameras for recycling drop-off site, you're required to have your local law enforcement involved and to sign off a letter that they'll follow up with the license plates if someone does illegally dump. And whatever the project is, you have to give us some kind of recognition, either a sign or if you're doing some kind of event, put us on the flyers, our little logo on the flyer, something like that. We're trying to grow the idea that we even exist. A lot of people don't know what we do. They don't know the services we offer. And we want people to know that we're supporting these kinds of endeavors so we can get our name out too. Okay, so things you can spend your Go Green grants on. These are some examples. This is not an all-inclusive list. So community electronics days, if you want to collect TVs and other electronics for all of your residents. If you want to have a paper shred day and pay a company to come and do a paper shred for your residents. If you have an illegal dump site somewhere and it's a mess and you want to pay a contractor to come in and clean up that site. Litter cleanup events, if you want to get, excuse me, if you want to get litter pickers and vests and whatnot to keep for your own use and don't borrow ours. We do have equipment that we can lend out on a regular basis, but if you want to have it just so you have it for yourselves, that's something you can ask for. Recycling containers for public locations. So if you want to start recycling in your parks, if you want to start recycling in your town squares, things like that, you can ask for the funding to get those kind of containers. And those containers can be very expensive. I mean, just garbage cans and recycle bins, they could be $800, $900, $1,000 just for a good quality outdoor recycling bin. So I know that that's expensive. Community cleanup events. So a lot of you guys have trash days or community cleanup days where you have your residents come in and bring all kinds of bulky items and whatever like that. We can help assist pay for that. But you have to have an e-waste or electronics collection that same day. I will explain why in a moment. Okay, recycled plastic picnic tables or benches or other outdoor items that will have recycled content. It has to be at least 50% recycled content. Some plastic benches and tables can get up to 100%, depending on the color. If you pick a weird color like I believe reds, they can only get 50 to 75% recycled plastic. So as long as it's over 50%, just because you see a plastic table online on Amazon, it doesn't mean it's recycled content. You have to check it and make sure that they list. If it's not listed, it isn't, because it costs more to make recycled content. So make sure if you're going to buy a recycled plastic, whatever, that it's actually made of recycled plastic, not just regular plastic. Educational materials for summer youth activities and events. So we've had some summer camps where they've asked for educational money to buy educational materials, t-shirts, and other things like that to enhance their summer camps. The things that we can cover as a solid waste district, we were created by the Ohio EPA, and we have a list of 10 things that we're allowed to use our funds for. We have funding, but we can't go out and help you buy a fire engine or pay for your police station or anything like that. We have 10 allowable uses. So if your grant project doesn't meet any of those criteria, we can't pay for it. So, which is why, like a community cleanup event, where you're collecting bulky trash and things like that. For us, that's not an allowable use. But if you're having an electronics collection, that's one of our allowable uses. So we can support an event that includes electronics recycling. But we can't just support your regular old, I'm collecting couches and chairs. So it really matters what, the things that you want to apply for. It isn't necessarily anything environmentally friendly, like replacing a catch basin for stormwater. That's environmentally friendly, but we can't fund that. That's not one of our allowable uses. So it's just explaining why we can pay for some things and sometimes we can't, even though it's a green project. Okay. Okay, school projects. If I have some schools online, I hope I do. Schools are eligible to apply for these grants. And first off, did you know that the district, that's us, is now offering free recycling services to all schools within Geauga and Trumbull counties? So if you have a school in your district, check with us and see if they're participating. It's free. What we'll do is we'll put a dumpster in their parking lot, just like the community drop-off sites we see out and about. It is for their private use only. It is not for the public to come and drop things off. But we will pay to have it serviced. They can fill it up with all the paper, think about all the paper that kids produce at the elementary schools and the middle school levels, just tons and tons, and offices produce tons and tons of paper. We can offer a service to have that picked up. So there are a lot of schools in Trumbull County that do not have that service, that you can't even find a company, maybe cardboard. You might be able to pay a company to come and pick up your cardboard, but we will take cardboard, paper, bottles, and cans if they want to accept it. And it's all free of charge from us. So if you have a school and you aren't participating in that yet, get in touch with me and we'll get signed up. If you are, maybe you're looking for some equipment to help you do the collection within the school. So we put the dumpster out there, but it's the school's responsibility to collect it up within the classrooms and take it out to the dumpster. And sometimes that logistically can be a nightmare. So how do you collect it in each of the classrooms? How do you get it from the classrooms out to the dumpster? So we have these grants, these Go Green grants, to help you buy the equipment you need to do that side of the project. So you can get containers for the classrooms. You can get a flatbed to put the containers on to drag it out to the dumpster, and whatever else, posters, signage, if you want to buy, to do some kind of special event inside to kick it off. Those are all things that might be eligible for our Go Green grant funding. If you want to start a school composting program, if you want to send your kids to a MRF, which we call it a MRF, it's a recycling center where they actually process the bottles and cans. If you want to send them on a field trip there, or a field trip to a landfill so they could just see with their own eyes what happens to all of their trash, it's really amazing. It can be eye-opening. If you want to pay for a guest speaker to come for a school assembly on an environmental topic, if you want to pay for your teachers to get training on environmental topics, these are all things that we can fund. So if you're interested in any of those projects, please let us know. Up to $3,500, we can pay for that. Oh, here, we're open to other ideas. Please contact us to see if a project would be eligible. So for anyone, I talked about schools, but if we had a request recently from a township that wanted to do some work at a building and use all recycled materials, all recycled like C&D, construction and demolition debris, using used doors and things like that. Actually, I looked into it. That's eligible. I can help fund that. It doesn't mean necessarily that project get funded, because that's up to the board, which I'll talk about later, but it's an eligible expense. So it's kind of outside the box, not one I would have thought of, but hey, they're welcome to apply for it. Okay, so what can you spend your money on? If you get a Go Green grant, you could buy equipment, you could rent equipment, you could pay a service contract for someone. Let's say if you're cleaning up a dump site, you want to pay a company to come and bring their bulldozers in and clean up a dump site. That's an allowable expense. If you need to rent equipment, if you're doing trying to think of a good example, you could rent equipment for a project, of course. If you want to do some kind of signage or awareness or recognition, the little signs that you have to make to say, hey, Geauga and Trumbull Solid Waste gave us the money. We actually cover that in our grants. So you don't even have to pay for that. We'll pay for the sign too, but we're requiring you to do a sign. Or advertising and awareness for an event. If you're having an electronics collection, we'll reimburse you for costs for putting it in the paper, putting it on Facebook, whatever advertising you want to do for that event. We will reimburse you. We can reimburse you for those expenses. What we can't pay for. We can't pay for your employees' salaries. So if your people are working on the event that day, if you're having an electronics or a cleanup day, I can't pay for your employees' salaries to be there that day. I can't pay for their benefits or any administrative costs. I can't pay for the donuts and coffee you paid for to have them for that day. I can't pay for any food or entertainment expenses for any event. And I can't help you buy land. I always put that on there. I don't know of anyone who's buying land, but just in case, I can't help you buy land. Oh, any expenses that occurred before the grant contract is signed. This is obviously, it's really big and in bold, and I'm going to say it a few times. If you apply for this grant, you can't order anything today in the hopes that you're going to get the grant, or you're doing this project regardless, but you want us to reimburse you. I get it. You can't buy anything until I tell you have the money. It's an auditor thing. You can't spend money before the purchase order has been opened. So I can't open the purchase order until the board approves all of my expenditures. Once that happens, I'll open a purchase order and I'll give you the green light, go spend whatever you want to spend. But even ordering it beforehand is a no-no. So don't order it beforehand, don't buy it beforehand. Anything that's bought before the purchase order is open, I cannot reimburse you for. That has happened in the past. I've had to say, no, I can't reimburse you for several communities who have done that. So I don't want you to get stuck with a bill you're not expecting. Second one, expenses not included in the grant application or approved, but changes that are not pre-approved. So let's say you want to buy, you're going to have an electronics collection. And for whatever reason, you decide you're not going to do the electronics collection. You've asked for $3,500. You're going to have an electronics collection. So you decide not to do the electronics collection. And internally, you decide to go out and buy. I'm trying to think of something. You go out and you decide to fix your catch basin. And you don't tell me. And then you send in a receipt to try and get reimbursed for that. One, it is not what you asked for. You asked for funding to do an electronics collection. If you say, or you decided not to do an electronics collection, we want to use it for something else. Had you emailed me, I could have said, well, the catch basin isn't approved. Or even if you buy something, let's say you want to do an electronic collection, you decide to buy picnic tables instead. Yes, picnic tables are eligible, but I need to know ahead of time and give you approval. You can't just go out and buy whatever it is you want to buy, thinking you have $3,500 free to spend on whatever you like. I need you, if you're going to significantly change something, like if you're changing the color or the manufacturer or whatever, I don't care about that. What I care about is significantly changing what you're planning to do with that money. So you need to contact me and email me and say, hey, we're not going to be able to do this for whatever reason. We're thinking maybe this instead. And I'll email you back and say, sounds good, go for it. And then you can go out and spend that money on that project. Okay. That has happened too. People have said, oh, we decided to redo our bathroom in the park. Nope, can't pay for that. Sorry. I made it bold. Please don't do that. Anyway. Okay, if you decide to have an electronics collection, we used to do box trucks. We don't do box trucks anymore. We used to lend you box trucks, but we can provide you reimbursement if you choose to rent a box truck to bring the materials to us. So you do the collection at your one-day event, at your cleanup or whatever. And if you could put it in your own trucks, your own one-ton dumps or whatever, you're welcome to do that. But if you have so much that you want to just load it up into a box truck, you could rent a box truck, and that's an allowable expense. We will accept the materials at one of our collection facilities. So you just have to drive it to us, either here at our Warren facility or out at our Geauga facility on Merritt Road. You must provide staff to drive the materials to the facility. So we're not going to come pick them up. You got to bring them to us and schedule ahead that you're coming. You have to let us know you're coming. You can't just show up Monday morning and say, hey, we had a collection last Saturday, because we don't have appropriate staffing for that. To be eligible for if you have a cleanup day or trash day, like I said before, you must collect electronics for it to be an eligible expense, one of my allowable uses. We can lend you metal cages to collect the smaller electronics. And we actually have some signage this year to help you promote your event. That's something that we purchased. Here's these little A-frame signs that we can give you little signs that would slide into the little A-frame, and then you could put them outside to show. And this would actually count for your recognition, because notice our logo is at the top. So you wouldn't have to buy a sign for your one-day event. You could just put this up and borrow it from us for the weekend, and we would be able to, you could use these signs. We're going to have, you can't see it if you're not here, we have signs here, but there's A-frame signs that you could use for any kind of specialty event like this, cleanup day, electronics day, etc. And we got grant funds to do it. So notice at the bottom of all of the signs, whose little logo's there? Ohio EPA, because they gave us the money to do that. So we had to give them recognition. We have to follow the same rules that I'm asking you to follow. It's not out of the ordinary. So notice that their logo is on absolutely everything that I do. Any kind of litter cleanups and stuff like that, you'll see their logo on there because they give us an awful lot of money every year. And we greatly appreciate it if any of them are online. Thank you very much. Okay, there was a question online about grants. Are they one per municipality, school, or nonprofit? Typically, yes. I understand, if it's a huge city or village, or a huge city or a township, we might entertain more than one. I know, for instance, Howland Township has multiple drop-off sites. So we have looked at doing more than one in the past. Whether or not they all get funded, I cannot answer that, but it's typically the board likes to limit it to one per entity, either one per school, one per municipality, one per nonprofit, things like that. Okay. Oh, another question we had was, can those special signs that I have up on the screen, can they be picked up at the Geauga facility? Absolutely. Just let me know when you want to plan to pick it up, and I'll have my crew take out a few signs up there to borrow it and bring it back. Okay, we have a question in the room. Yes, sir.
These signs that we can borrow, would they be applicable for the Nova cleanup people? They often mention they're picking up alongside roads. Okay. And they mention signs, and I notice it's not the ODOT colors and all that. So.
Okay, so the question in the room, in case anyone didn't hear it, was, would these signs be applicable for, he asked for about a specific cleanup, but about roadside cleanups, like litter cleanups on the roadside? No, these are for events inside in a parking lot, something like that, where you have residents come in to drop off stuff. That's what these are designed for. The roadside ones are the full-on ODOT, bright orange, litter crew cleanup type signs. And I already have a plan for Noah. So they're going to be taken care of. They're fine. They're going to have all the signs they need, because they come and steal all of my stuff when they come. I love them. But when you have 200 people coming, and it takes us 2 truckloads to get them everything they need for their cleanups. And it's draining on our resources in April to do that, because we have so many people wanting to do cleanups in the spring, that we're actually I'm hoping the board approves it. We're going to outfit them with their own materials, because they can't apply for grants. They're Amish. So we're going to figure out a way to supply them with all the road signs that they need, because the road signs are several $1,000s. What they want is going to cost several $1,000s. It's going to be enough to be a Go Green grant all of it. Okay. Oh, another question. Can you apply for 2025 and then again in 2026? Yes. There are people now who have Go Green grants that are not closing out till June of 2025. Last year's grants, they don't close out till June 2025. If you still have an open grant, that's okay. Apply for 2025. We expect you to close out your grant like you should in June of 2025 for this year's grant. And don't commingle your funds. Whatever you said you were going to buy in 2024, you should buy that stuff. And then if you have a separate project in 2025, we'll pay for that in 2025 and so on. And then next year you can apply for 2026, etc. They're separate, so it's fine. We don't have a limit 1 to 1 per whatever, open at a time. Oh, if you have an electronics collection, what should you collect? So we take a lot of stuff. It's up to you what you want to collect, what your staffing you can do. You must accept TVs, because televisions are the #1 item that we get questioned about. So you have to accept TVs. Anything beyond that is completely up to you. Most people will bring small electronics, toasters, things like that. If you want to take refrigerators and freezers, you are welcome to do that. We'd love it. Especially in Geauga County, where they really have no other option to bring that other than our collection facilities. If you don't have the staff to unload its refrigerators, then don't accept them. You have to accept TVs. It's completely up to you. We can provide customized flyers to help you advertise what you will and will not accept. Here's I'll show you an example. I thought it was the next slide. So we can help you make flyers to help you decide, to advertise what you have. So you choose. You collect electronics yourself, or if you are planning on getting a ton of electronics, like Hubbard Township, Hubbard City, they get truckloads of stuff. You might contract directly with an electronics company. Rather than bringing it all up to us, you could have a company come straight there, take it all turnkey. They do the whole thing. And I recommend that for large collections like Hubbard Township. They have, and Niles has one every year. But they collected something like 20,000 pounds of electronics in one day. So yeah, that's not something pickup trucks can bring. Right, our collection facilities accept truckloads in pickup trucks, 1-ton dumps, or you can get box trucks. You can't bring it in dumpsters. Like, don't fill up a dumpster and bring us the dumpster because it's too hard for us to unload that. And for safety reasons, one-day events are best. We've had some communities say, all right, we're having an open in the parking lot, put up a sign for 5 days, bring your electronics. It's really not a good idea. First off, you get dumping, and second, if people leave computers, then we're open for identity theft. Then you're having issues with people, someone stealing their computer and taking it home and getting their social security number off of it because they left it at your event. Whereas if you collect it and put it in a box truck or whatever, it's locked up for the evening, you bring it to us and it's locked up in our building that same day. So it's much more secure. If you are planning on having an event, once you know you're getting funded, and please reach out to Andrew. He's one of my staff, he runs the collection facilities, and tell him when you're having your event and when you're going to bring your materials. And that way we can schedule extra people. What we do is we bring in extra hourly workers, like from Manpower, Randstad, things like that, to work those weeks to help us keep up. We're a staff of 4. There are 2 of us who work in the office and 2 of us who work back in the collection facilities. That's it. So if we're getting truckloads, which we do in April and May, when you guys have these collection events, we regularly fill up a semi-truck a week with all the stuff you guys are bringing, which we love. It's a great thing that you're doing. We just have to make sure we have adequate staff to be able to box that up and get it on the trucks and get it out of there in a timely manner without creating a humongous mess. So we need you to schedule ahead of time so we know we have enough staff and we can schedule the truck to get emptied, swapped out for an empty one. Here's an example. Here's an example of what the collection flyer can look like. As you can see, Fowler Township had an appliances and TV collection. And this is all the things that they took. They were taking refrigerators and freezers and microwaves and whatever. You don't have to. But notice that all they took in the televisions was TV. Other than the appliances was just TVs. They didn't take smaller electronics stuff, but they had to take the TVs and then other appliances. So it's up to you. I can help design a flyer just like this and send it to you to disperse however you like, with all your individual information, if you'd like. And then I can also provide you with this form on the right that says, best practices to hosting an electronics collection. All right, the question was, repeat my answer to, one grant per municipality. Okay, the question was asked, are you limited to 1 grant per entity? Yes, pretty much yes. There are some exceptions that we can work around, like Howland Township has 2 drop-off sites. But you can apply for one of each of the grants. Let me be clear. You can apply for a Go Green, you can apply for a DIG, which we'll talk about next session, and you can apply for, obviously, the scrap tire grants. You apply to one each. You can't apply for 10 Go Green grants. You can't apply for, 2 DIGs, or 3 Go Greens. It's limited typically to one Go Green per entity. If there is a reason why you think you should be eligible for 2, maybe there's something else, maybe it's a kind of a quasi-separate entity, call me and we'll talk about it. But generally the board likes to only approve 1 per entity. So 1 per municipality, 1 per village or city, 1 per nonprofit, 1 per school. Okay, we'll talk about how to apply in just another question. Okay. Oh, so the things we can never accept. Don't accept anything for businesses. Our funding is for residential, not for businesses. Businesses need to pay. There are companies out there. There's one in Warren where they could pay to dispose of their materials. I know it's a bummer for smaller companies to have to do that, but our funding is for residents. I have a typo, household hazardous waste. I was typing too fast. We can't do, it's not good to take batteries or light bulbs. They get broken in transport. Household hazardous waste, don't take chemicals, oils, gasoline, etc., stuff like that. We don't take furniture. You guys can take it and put it in your dumpster, or construction debris, but don't bring it here. We don't have a way to do anything with that. We don't take household trash. And don't just bring us bags of bottles and cans, jugs and jars. You can just put it in your local drop-off site. Okay, here's the companies that you can call if you want to have the event yourself and have them come and do an event for you, like Hubbard and Niles. These are 3 companies that are local that can do that event for you, and I can give you more information later. These are certified. I highly recommend getting a certified recycler. There are a lot of people out there that say, oh yeah, I can recycle TVs. And all they do is they strip everything that they can out of them and scrap it. And then everything that's hazardous in it, the reason why we accept TVs, they're full of lead. They take those lead items and they either A, go dump them someplace, or 2, they put them in B, they put them in a landfill, which defeats the purpose. I want everything in there recycled. So use the company that is certified that they will recycle everything. These are 3 local ones, but I can give you more if you're interested. Okay, how to apply. So applications can be submitted online, electronically, or on paper. You can now fill out the entire application online and submit with an electronic signature. You can also download all of the applications from our website, which I will show you in a minute. I'm going to actually go through it. I can show you where to download it. You can print it, fill it out on paper if you want, and scan it and email it to me, or print it and mail it to me, or you can just fill out the whole thing online. So here's a Warren Townships cleanup. See, there's a dump site. That's why they needed 3,500. Look at that guy. Okay, so I had made slides just in case the technology didn't work. So we're going to try. Can you see the web? That's our website. Can you see the website? I hope so. Okay, everyone in here, can we see the website? Yes. Am I little? Yes, perfect. So you can see it here. You can see that. So this is our website, which is startrecycling.com. Start as in begin. Startrecycling.com. Go to our website. At the very top, there is an other activity. You can either go through here. I'll go to what our website looks like when you first log in. As our hours. Here's our 2025 Go Green Community Grants. So you click there, and it shows at the bottom all of the different grants we offer. So Go Green Grants are right here. See how it has a little plus sign? Click on the plus sign, and it'll give you all your options for this. You can either apply right online, which we're going to do in a minute, or you can download the PDF and fill it out yourself at your leisure and send it to us later. And here's also instructions, which gives you a lot more information about each of the different items in the application, in case you can print that out or read it as you're going while you're filling it out. We try to make the applications as simple as possible, but I know sometimes what we think is easy to understand is not, because you guys don't speak environmentalese. So we're going to apply for a grant online. Here it comes up. This is our Adobe form. Hit continue. And so we'll type in our name. Oh, I'm actually going to fill it out real quick. You'll notice at the very top, it says next required field. You have 18 fields. The fields that have little stars are required to be filled out. It will not let you submit the application unless you put something in those boxes. So I'm just gonna, oops, I spelled wrong, but who cares? I'm not actually applying for anything. Our phone number, if I try to type in gobbledygook, it's gonna say, no, you really need to put in a phone number. So we don't have to put the fax in. Me, director, my email. So I want you to fill in your whoever the person who's going to be signing this form, I want that information. So if your fiscal is filling it out, but your chair of your trustees board is the one officially signing it, the official person's name and information goes in there. The person who's actually filling out the form and is going to be the one who I need to call if I have a question, or they're the ones who are mostly overseeing it. Maybe your road department person, maybe your fiscal, maybe it's one of the other commissioner, one of the other trustees, but they're going to be my main point of contact. You put their name here. If it's the same person, great, put it in again. But I need this information. so I can reach out to them, because these are the people that are gonna get all the follow-up, they're gonna get the contract, they're gonna get the, I'm gonna bug them about getting things signed and getting purchase orders opened and things like that once it's approved. All right. Description of the physical location. So if you're having a one day, you just put the address of, wherever the event is. Portland, I don't know. Or if you're doing a cleanup, an illegal dumping cleanup, put that location, or wherever it is. If you're going to put picnic tables somewhere in a park, put the address to the park. Very simple. Next question. Explain your project. What are you going to be doing? I don't want pages and pages, just one, maybe two paragraphs talking about what exactly what you're planning on doing. We're going to have a picnic tables in our parks area. I'm doing it very brief, but please write in, let me know really what you're doing. Okay, next question. All right, how are you going to tell people about this? How are you going to show people that you're having this event? So if you're having a shred day, we'll say we're going to put it in the paper. And how are you going to reach out to people? We're going to, we're putting it in the paper, we're going to put it on our sign, our township sign. We're going to, whatever it is, we're going to put it on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. List all that stuff. And that helps us understand how much, what types of things you need to put for our recognition. If you're putting an ad in the paper, put our logo on it. If you're doing whatever it is, we can help you figure out how to do our recognition. So we'll just do signs. Then you type in, this is, you understand, I really mean it. You have to give us recognition somewhere. And we've had that a problem where people have requested their reimbursement. I asked them, well, what recognition do you give us? We didn't. Well, go out and buy a sign and, put a sign on whatever the picnic table is or something like that to give us our recognition. And they had to go out later and do that, and it delayed their reimbursement. That's my initials. So you're just signing right there. I understand I'm going to have to give you recognition. We're going to have to give the district recognition. Okay. Then, what are you planning on buying? So the products and services needed. You'll notice just the first line alone is required because you got to at least buy one thing. If you have more than one thing that you're planning on buying, list it. I'm not asking for ridiculous detail. I'm just saying, all right, picnic tables. Vendor, if you've already chosen the vendor. Or Poly is a favorite one in this area. For Poly. Description, we're going to do 3 6-foot picnic tables. And they're 100% recycled. Recycling content, they're 100% recycled. We've already picked them out, they're 100%. Okay, we're not buying anything else, that's all we're buying. Now, if you've done Go Green grants in the past, this is the only new section that we did. So, we updated, it used to look a lot different. So we're grouping things by categories now. So instead of making you list each individual item you were planning on buying, as we did previously, now you just have to tell us what grouping you're gonna buy. So if you're buying equipment, that would be the picnic tables. We're spending all $3,500 on picnic tables. And I want $3,500 in grant funds to do that. So notice you have $0 cost left. I'm not buying anything else, so I'm going to leave that blank. But if you're going to do a little sign. So $50, which now we're over budget. So we'll do. Yeah, now we got $50 to do a little sign. I don't know how much those cost. They're not that much. There's little plates on a table that say donated by Go Green, by the district, made of 100% recycled plastics. That actually is important because we want people to know that it's made of recycled plastic so they can say, oh, you can make things out of recycled plastics? How cool. We'll have to look for that when we buy a new whatever, a new picnic table or a bench or something for whatever we need to get the word out that those are available. As you notice at the bottom, it automatically adds up everything in the columns for you. How nice. So that's already done. Then If you wanted to, if you want, it's not required, if you want to attach copies of quotes, or you want to send me a picture of the table you're looking for, or the dump site, if you're cleaning up a dump site, if you want to send me some pictures of what the dump site looks like, or whatever. Or if you're planning on using doing an electronics collection and you want to use one of those companies, get a quote from that company and send it to me. You can attach, you can click here and it'll automatically say, hey, where's the file? And you can attach it. If you don't have any attachments, that's fine. It's not required. Then you're going to want to sign. Now see how this, it keeps moving you along these little things. And we have one more field to figure out. So we're going to click sign. And it automatically dates it for us. So now we have filled all of our fields out. Notice how it says required fields completed. Once all those fields are complete, this little box will pop up to click to sign. We're going to click to sign it. Then I have to put my email address, because what it's going to do, it's going to send me a verification thing where I have to click on it and say, yes, I truly exist, in order to see. It says, we just emailed you a link to make sure it's you. Take a few seconds and click to verify your email address, and then it will send in the application. Now, here's the tricky part. Let's see if I can go to my email. I want to, yeah, cool. Share. So this is my email. Look at all my 700 million things. Here it says, please confirm your signature right at the top there. We open that up. It says, confirm my email address. I click on that. Then your grant has been verified. A copy of the signed document is being sent to you. That didn't pop up. Share this window. Okay, see how, there it goes. This is what pops up on the screen when you click that verify tab, that your thing has been verified. And then in the email, we're going to go back to my emails. It will say, oh, share this window. This is what you will get. You will get a confirmation that you signed for an application for a Go Green grant. You will get one and I will get one. So if you get it, you know that I got it too. And you can download it here if you wanted to keep a copy for your records. But you know that you have proof, it was submitted, you're good to go. So now are the questions and answers. I've answered a lot along the way. Does anyone in the room have any additional questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a template of your logo that if we get your recognition sign that we can send to the person that's making the sign?
Yes. So the question was for you, those of you at home, do we have a logo that we can send to you for recognition? Absolutely. I have it in JPEG, EPS, AI. I got every version. I have it in long, like landscape. I have it in vertical. So whatever works best for the sign that you're making, I can send you a copy of it. You actually will get it. If you were approved for a grant, I send you, hey, you were approved for a grant. Congratulations. Here's, fill out this contract. And once the contract is sent back to us, we send it back to you for the fully executed copy of the contract, along with our logos and a copy of the closeout form. So you'll get all of that anyway. But if you ever need it for any reason, just email me and we're happy to provide that for you. So these are some past projects. We have school composting, electronics waste, but annual roadside cleanups. I think I talked about a lot of these. You're encouraged to submit a draft. If you're not really sure if this is eligible, or if you want to just check to make sure you crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's, you can send it to me, email it to me ahead of time, or submit it ahead of time by January 21st. That's about 10 days before it's due. And that'll give me time to look it over, make any comments or changes as necessary, send it back to you so you can fix it and get it in before the deadline. The hard deadline is Friday, January 31st at 2025 at midnight. I'll get a Monday morning, but yeah, the deadline is Friday, January 31st to submit these. When will you know if you get the money? My board of directors, which is the 3 Geauga commissioners and the 3 Trumbull commissioners, they meet quarterly. So they will be meeting sometime in mid-February. We haven't set a date yet. but they're the ones who decide who gets the funding and who doesn't. I will present to them all the applications and with a short explanation of each, and they'll look at how much we have. We budgeted $75,000 for Go Green grants for next year. We have in the past had more applications than the 75,000, and the board, in their own decisions, decided to fund the good ones and the ones over and above that were good applications anyway. That may or may not be the case every year. I know we have 75,000, but we'll see how many grant applications we get this year. We generally get right around $75,000 to $100,000 in applications. So you may or may not all be funded, especially considering my board will be 3 absolutely brand new people this year. Next year in 2025. So 2 of the Trumbull commissioners are new and 1 of my Geauga commissioners are new. So literally half of my board is brand new, brand spanking new, and may not even know what we do or how, that we even exist. So I can't tell you what they're going to vote. As soon as the board meeting is scheduled, I will let all of the applicants know. That's why you put your email address for the contact information. I make a little group email and I'll send it out and say, hey, the board meeting's been scheduled for the 15th or whatever day it is. I'll follow up with you the day or 2 after to let you know what happens. I try to keep you up to date as much as I can. When I know something, you'll know something. So if you get approved, I will email you a contract for funding. You have to get whoever your authorized person is to sign it. Then once it's signed and sent back to us, which you can sign electronically too, or you can sign on paper, you do both. Once you sign that and send it back to me, I will sign it on my end and we can open a purchase order. Once that purchase order is opened, I will give you the green light to go ahead and spend stuff. Do not start spending just because you signed your half of the contract. That's not how it works. I have to open a purchase order. So you have to wait another day or 2, and then I'll open it. By the time it takes us to open all these purchase orders, because there's like 75, 100 of them, it takes us a bit to get them all open, and then I'll give you permission. And once again, if you decide you want to significantly change the items you want to purchase, you must email us to request permission. We okay changes all the time. Just let us know what you're planning on doing, or if you have money left over. That's another thing. We were going to buy picnic tables. They ended up being only $3,000 instead of $3,500. We have $500 left over. We want to buy some litter supplies. Absolutely, spend it on that. Not a big deal. We'll tell you what. Just ask us. I'm easy to work with. So the question is, once we're approved, can we start purchasing right away, or do we need approval for each item we purchase? No. Once you're approved, and I give you the green light, whatever is in your grant, if you say I'm buying A, B, and C, you can go out and buy A, B, and C, as long as it's in your grant application. If you want to buy anything that's not in your grant application, that's when you have to reach out to me and get approval. That's it. If it's in your grant application, go. All right, so you complete the project, you buy all your stuff, you pay for all of the expenses, then you just have to send us a closeout sheet. It's a 1-page closeout form saying what you spent it on. You have to attach copies of receipts, attach copies of your canceled checks or your little paperwork showing that you paid those invoices. You're going to send me a copy of an invoice and proof that you actually paid that invoice. Once I get all of that, I'll cut you a check and send it to you. As long as you did what you said you were going to do, we're good to go. You can turn it in as soon as you complete it. You don't have to wait. The deadline to get paperwork, to get reimbursed, is June of 2026. But if your project, if you said you were going to buy picnic tables and you bought them in June of 2025, then send me the paperwork. I'll send you the check. You don't have to wait till 2026, but you have until 2026 to get the project done if necessary. More questions answered. I've had it twice. Okay, so just a review real quick of the schedule. The draft, if you want to send us a draft for review, you're not required to do that, but you can. It's January 21st. The deadline is January 31st. The grant award decisions by the board will be made mid-February. The grant spending starts the contract effective date, which I will tell you as soon as I know what day that is. Usually it's end of February, but don't start spending until I give you your green light. The closeout is June 30th. And for those of you who are doing a dig, which we'll talk about in a minute, those are June 30th. Those are 2 grants that are due in June. Okay. If you have any questions, my contact information, my phone, my email, Andrew, who runs the facility. If you have questions about an electronics collection or whatever, talk to Andrew. He's he's that guy. He knows all that stuff. Email him, call him. Lisa, if you have questions about paperwork or just basically opening the purchase orders, things like that, that's her domain. She's the expert there. So you can talk to Lisa at Start Recycling and her email, her phone number. And FYI, I know we're over time. I'm just going to be real quick, just to let you know, district information. We have 2 paper shred days, one at each facility. The one in Geauga is April 26th. The one in Trumbull is May 10th. You can promote it to your residents, let them know. They're welcome to come 9 to noon either of those days and bring up to 4 boxes of papers for shredding. Both of our collection facilities are open year round. So they're both open right now for electronics, appliances, and foam on their specific days. Geauga, because it's newer and heated, we can take household hazardous waste all winter long. Even Trumbull County residents, if you have a Trumbull County resident that really wants to get rid of oil and gas, they're welcome to drive to the Geauga facility. They're not limited to, residents of that county. They're both open to both counties. So if you have a resident in Trumbull County who wants to get rid of that stuff, please send them up to Geauga. They can get rid of it every Friday all winter long. And just as an FYI, we are currently updating our 5-year plan. We're nearing the end, thank goodness. We're going to be going into the public comment period and our public hearing in February, March of next year. And then we'll have to ratify it in 2025. If you don't know anything about that, I have to go each individual community. So I have 57 communities, all the cities, townships, villages. I have to get each of those communities to approve the new plan. So I'll be visiting all of your township meetings and your city council meetings and whatever in May, June, July of 2025. So you might hear and see me a little bit more often than you usually do. We do this every 5 years. So I'll be out talking about all the wonderful programs we offer and why you should approve our 5-year plan. And if you guys want to look at our plan, it's going to be available online as soon as the public hearing, public comment period opens. We will upload it onto our website. It is almost a 300-page document. It's not for the faint-hearted, but there is a 3 or 4 page summary to kind of give you the short version of what exactly our 5-year plan says. If you are interested in reading about it. I think that's my last slide. Yes, it is. Any other questions? I don't have any in the room. Any questions in the room? No. Any questions online? No. I don't see any more questions. Well, I know we're about 10 minutes over. I really apologize for those of you who are signing in for the drop-off improvement grants. Give me 1 minute and we'll get started. I apologize for our lateness. Thank you.